that's Brendan Davitt on the bagpipes, as you could, I'm sure, enjoy. Brendan is a freshman here at St. Michael's College in Burlington, Vermont, and he picked up the bagpipe in high school. Now, if I remember, Brendan, you got into this, yeah, come a little closer, that's good. And we'll adjust so we can see you better. Excellent. You got into this in high school as an art project?
As our senior grad challenge project.
Every senior has to do something.
Every senior has to do a new learning opportunity.
And so it was bagpipes for you.
Yes, it was.
And you had a coach.
I did. His name is Tim Cummings. He is a professional bagpiper who has traveled the world and then wound up in Moncton, Vermont.
Ah, nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
of course.
I found him on Google search, which is quite funny.
Found him on
Google.
what? Google search. Good old Google.
Good old Google.
Now, tell me what appealed to you to want to do it.
Well, as a young kid, we have a camp out in West Dansville, Vermont. And I would always hear this one person playing the bagpipes. And I never knew quite what it was. But all I can remember was that it had a very distinctive sound. And that it was very eerie but haunting, but it's very, very catchy. So from that moment on, it was always, I'd say, on the bucket list, which my dad always talks about, as something to do. So
Your bucket list to
the
get
bucket
done.
list, yep.
Yeah.
So I could check it off.
Got an amazing history, bagpipes.
Yep.
You must know something of that.
I do. I wrote a 12-page paper on the somewhat broad history. There's no specific direct origin of the bagpipes, but there's one for almost every country. So this is the Great Highland from Scotland. There's also the French Benue, the Irish Uilleann, and it keeps going on and on.
Oh, lots of bagpipes.
So there is a misconception that there's just a bagpipe. There's actually very many.
And about when did they start in Scotland, do you know?
I believe it was the early 14th centuries, maybe even earlier. I know there's folklore and kings and their pipers way, way back, but the dates are pretty broad.
And I like your outfit. You're really wearing
Yes,
what a
thank
Scot
you.
would
This
wear.
is, more or less the informal gear of a bagpiper. Normally they'd have a fancy hat and a plaid, which is a cape that goes over. This is a Prince Henry jacket, a sporran, a belt.
What is that thing with the three tassels on it?
It's called a sporran.
Sporran.
A sporran. It was used to keep food back in the olden days, keep little parcels, messages. So.
And the kilt, it goes back to how long have
Kilts?
Scots been wearing kilts?
Oh, they've always been wearing kilts. It's always been in their nature. Normally it would have been a big piece of hide that wrapped around multiple times. But specifically, each family would have like a family tartan. So this is not my tartan. This is the great Stuart of Scotland, which is a famous family.
Scots in your background.
I'm actually an Irishman.
Ah, okay,
So,
good.
Irishman playing Scottish pipes is.
That's from what you say of history, that all fits.
So my family's from Stride, Ireland, the Michael Davitt clan. So I've yet to find the kilt, but it's out there somewhere.
Got the clan and all. You got into it in high school. You're still at it, and you've mentioned what appeals to you. How do you see God at work in your playing? Would you say?
So obviously, I enjoy doing church sessions, and I actually talked with a friend about this last night. It seems praying is on one level, to pray to God is a lot different than singing and playing music for Him. So it's almost when you play music and sing for Him, you're almost at a higher level of praying. It's like almost you're praising Him rather than just praying. So we found it that it's almost like very exquisite praying. So that's how I see it in my life. And He shows us to love almost anything. And I mean, it's, for the bagpipes, it's like a love or hate relationship. But no one ever...
Love or hate?
Love or hate.
Yeah.
There's very few in between people who like the bagpipes, either love or hate.
You show up at weddings, you show up at coronations,
Yep.
you can show up at funerals.
So there's definitely a big appeal
Yeah.
in every aspect of life. So.
It's got a very human sound to it in many ways, doesn't it?
Yep. So at funerals, it's more of a mourning instrument. in which it just lets the audience kind of just take it all in. And at a wedding, it's more of a joyful playing, and it definitely depends on the song and the mood you can set. But
Tell me something of how you might see God helping you play.
well, obviously, before I play, I definitely pray for Him, because there's so many things that could go wrong with the bagpipe. So the reeds could fall through, you could crack your drones, your reed could fall out. It's just there's many aspects that you really need help for. And so, like, every night before I go to bed, I'll be like, please, before I get on stage, don't let me fall apart, or like help me through the song, or if I get stuck, quick, like, please, come on. So.
Sure.
So He definitely does help me. And
With the instrument as well as with your own skill. Very interesting to hear the instrument
But,
as part of the created
it
order.
is. And I think it's dramatically changed over history, because before, the bagpipes were almost an instrument of the devil, and that's what it was perceived as. So sure, the churches would burn the instrument, but later since into the 21st century, it has since changed. And now it has been accepted into churches, and
As a work of the devil.
back in folklore and back in the medieval times, it was the instrument of the devil, but it has since changed. So,
And here you are playing
I
one
am.
of the Lord's songs on it.
yep.
Let's hear some more, Brendan, and let's kind of close with that. If you'll play some more of it, stay with Amazing Grace, and thank you so much, Brendan.